My name is Richie, and today I'm going to be going over some of the framework and patterns in my game engine that I have implemented so far. So right off the bat, I'll start with the kind of easier ones. I have a Singleton implementation here, which is my world object, and this object contains a list of the game objects in the world and a list of the lights in the world. And then it is these lists are pointers to implementations of these. So if I were to change a derived class of a game object, then I can um, do that without having to reconstruct or rebuild the main. I can modify one of those base classes and there's no issue. The next pattern I've implemented is a abstract factory pattern. If we go here, this is our base interface class for our abstract factory, and we can see that the factory will have a type string, and we can go and check that out. I have two factories currently implemented. The first one is kind of like base object, basic one, which just I used for the first demo with the Plinko machine. And then the second one is for my new demo, where I have this little space demo where the spaceships fly between the planet. We'll get to that soon. Anyway, the next pattern I have was oops, oh yes, the factory. I think it's a factory pattern where's my factory manager? Uh, Here, where I can get a object factory. I'll specify that in the scene file. I say like, oh, I want the space game factory, and it'll go into a implementation of this here, where if the type is the space game, I get a new C space game factory, which we were already looking at there, which lets me build ships and planets as of right now. But I'll be implementing I think like another planetoid like asteroid or something, and then I'll be implementing a second ship type as well to demonstrate how this is all working. The last pattern, and it is the mediator. So I have a messaging system. If we go look at, do I have one implemented right now? I believe the basic ship. Yeah. If we come in here, you can see that this message function is it's oh, from the game object. It's iMessageable. So every game object is messageable, including the world is also messageable. If we look at this, the message will allow us to send in some data with a string, and then we can respond with a message object, which is this S message here. So we send an S message and we return an S message, and that's implemented by every game object. If we go back to our basic ship, you can see that the message right now has an option to refuel, which in the update script here for this basic ship, when I come into contact with the planet, I'm going to message the planet, which is this destination, to ask it to get to request refuel of 10 units of fuel. And then that planet will send a message back, which I'm going to send to myself. And if that message that I got back from the planet was a refuel message, I refuel myself by the amount that I got. Okay, with that out of the way, I'm going to just run this demonstration to kind of show how it's all running through. Okay, so right now these three circles are the planets, and all these little ships are the basic ships. We'll see eventually some of these guys will start running out of fuel because they won't make it to the planets after the fuel runs out. And they're just kind of shooting along. Oh, there you go. A few have run out of fuel. and they just kind of get stuck out here. So my plan is to add maybe some asteroids around that they can fly to and get fuel from as well. But I also want to add another ship that will fly. It'll stay at a planet or something and then fly out to one of these other ships when they've run out of fuel. So it'll be asking the world, hey, is there any ships without fuel? And if the world says, yep, there's a ship without fuel, it's going to give it a pointer to that ship. And then that refueling ship will come and fly over to the ship, and it'll send it a message when it gets here to refuel and give it some of its fuel. So I'm going to go implement that now, and I'll be back in a moment. Alright, and through the magic of editing, here we are. I'll just go over quickly the changes. I had a couple unintended ones that kind of just mistakes on my earlier part. I switched this over from private to a protected so that I'm able to access that from inherited objects like the new ship, which is this refueling ship. So we'll see that in just a moment. This ship will look for other ships and give them fuel when it arrives to them. And if it's not looking for a ship currently, it'll ask the world to find a ship for it. So if we go to the world, we can see we have this little function going on within the message. So this is the mediator going here again, where it will ask, find me a stranded. So it's going to message all of its all the game objects that are of type basic ship. And if the basic ship responds with, yes, I'm stranded, it's going to return a message saying you have a new destination. It's that ship that we found that was stranded. Or it'll just say a null pointer and the refueling ship will do nothing. So I'm going to give this a run and we'll take a look. So here we are in the world. The larger pink ship in the back is our refueling ship. So we're just going to, looks like one already ran out of fuel over there. So you see he goes to that ship. There's a bunch of them running out of fuel. He just goes to the ship that the world tells him to go to, and he'll give them 10 fuel, send them a message saying, here's 10 fuel. And then they'll be able to go on again for, I think, they travel at like, or their fuel efficiency is 1 unit of fuel per second. So they can go for another 10 seconds, which will hopefully be far enough. And as well, I was talking about those asteroids. So what I ended up doing was just making a smaller planet. And instead of, this is an entirely different class in the code. Instead of giving, I think the planets were giving 10 units of fuel when a ship came up, these ones only give 1, so they're very poor resource-wise. They don't give a whole lot. When a ship comes up to it, it only gets 1 unit of fuel, so it might not be able to make it back. That's why the refuel ship, we'll have to go find them. You can see a bunch of them getting stranded now, all the time. A little green one way down there. As well, one thing I don't think I showed in the last bit is that I can actually move these planets runtime and the ships will fly to them because they actually have a pointer to the planet itself instead of just, let me grab one of these asteroids and we'll swing him out, this poor guy. You can see that he's run out of fuel. If I actually bring the planet into his area, then the ship, he will gain fuel from touching the planet, and the fuel ship will also try and kind of chase him down and get into kind of a weird state like that. I think as soon as he gets to this planet here, he should, oh, there he goes. Yeah, he just had to kind of catch up to him. I do believe I made the refueling ship a little bit faster, but there must be a bug with the area detection because I'm just using a distance check. I probably need to make that a little more lenient. Yeah, so I think that was everything I had to show for some frameworks and patterns in my software. Thank you for watching. Have a good day.